Okay, so you see, you tune the guitar according to the momentary necessities of harmonies in your brain cells and in the skull cells, in the osteophytes, and in the morphogenetic field of the soul, since we know that the body and soul are a unity of life. Okay, so aphorism 219 of Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil is helping me to overcome displeasure, or how to call it, discontinuity in my heroic mornings. Because yesterday, as I was talking about this hurrying to that combined performance of heroic tennis plus poetic workshop with some of the bards that I was thinking about, they could be bards, so I sent them the video on which I was working the whole day before. And now, naturally, no reaction, nobody looked at it, nobody came. And I was tired, and I was bicycling on the promenade. I had to jump into the fresh water of the Rhine, the clean river, the fresh river. And so I came late, like 15 minutes. And I always stress to all of my friends, as long as they are friends, that if we meet at a certain time at a beautiful place, there is no need to look at your watch and send SMSs and asking if the other guy does not come, sharply on time. This is very opposite to the phenomenal flow of experiences, not? So I came 15 minutes late because I was swimming and enjoying the fresh emptiness of the promenade and the cold water after I've been working so hard to communicate to other human beings what it means to be a bard and a modern warrior, according to Nietzsche's idea of the beware, not of the Superman, of the child, which is but finally the last stage of the transformation of the last man to Superman. If you cannot become childlike in your perception, emotion, and spontaneity, that you are not the Superman, according to Nietzsche's very many places in his books, he comes to this triad of last man, the catastrophe which we are now, the decadence, and the transformation of the few who can feel this decadence. What above all, they despise themselves, not the others. That's very important for all who want to start on the journey to an authentic, heroic life, poetic life. You do not care about the others. Above all, you do not criticize them. You simply go by, you pass them. If they present some works of art or some presentation of their inner world, which is advisable for everybody who want to be, noticed by the wise and by the creative, authentic travelers, you should produce some art. Don't talk cognitively about what should be. I am already disgusted with all these. There are hundreds of thousands of them. Those kind of, angry wise man, there was a novel, looking back in anger, this enchanted young man, or what it was. There's no sense today to criticize cognitively the situation. Everybody who is sensitive feels it, and everybody who can think knows what it is. And there are thousands of these critics now. Produce beautiful art, live beautifully, live authentically, express yourself, and then don't care about others. This is the way to the Zarathustrian child. No? Naturally, you have to come through those stages of study, which is the camel, 10, 20, 30 years according to your, ability to read and understand, and listen and understand, universities, whatever, libraries. And then like 10 or 20 years or 30 years of lion life. That is, you must feel disgusted with your studies, reading all around, once again, talking about it once again, understanding it once again, and nothing happens. You have to run away from the books and live a practical life as a farmer, as a craftsman, as a traveler, as whatever language teacher or sailing teacher or surfing teacher. And you have to be out of the cognitive world to live fully in a practical life. So that you don't be frustrated, completely crazy, and then you will come. The last resort is the war. You see, so many wars are there, but nobody notices, and you need to notice that the war is also made possible by all the intellectuals or frustrated cognitive thinkers who finally can excuse themselves, and throw themselves into a useless war to live an authentic death. And this agrees with Nietzsche's suggestion: if your life has been a nonsense, then see to it that your death at least amounts to something. Okay, nevertheless, forget it. So in the Aphorism 2019, Nietzsche says that the moral criticism is a weapon of those weaker ones, those who are not gifted by nature in about the abundant abilities and qualities of the soul and body, and so they cognitively criticize the others, and for that they need some standard of values, and this is moral. And also at the same time they can feel as if they were filled with some higher purpose, that their spirituality is growing because they stand on the right side of moral values. For me, it was specifically in the experience that after coming too late, 15 minutes too late, and I said to everybody who wants to be my friend, if we meet in a beautiful place, and there is no message from me that I do not come for serious reasons, I will come, but because time is not linear, and I never have a watch. Okay, I roughly know what is the time, I look at it before I go, I know how many minutes I need to get to the place, but considering that this is a beautiful place and this is morning and nobody is there and this tennis club is not overcrowded so that there are no people waiting for your court, you can play 2 hours, 3 hours, and so, and then it is beautiful promenade, and there even sometimes are nice erotic moments, because Eros, Eros is the phenomenon of a moment. It suddenly happens that the branches weave in the wind like the hair of a beautiful girl. And then you see her walking under these trees, and it is just 1 second. And Eros speaks to you so strongly that if you just so continue, you feel immediately the dagger of linear time and willpower, okay? Overcoming obstacles, being too late with the mechanistic world view. And you are, as a poet, you are finished for the whole day, I tell you. If you stop, return, and say to this girl, like, you know, spontaneous, not even stepping down of the bike, you say, you know why the hair of a girl, of a fairy, of a muse, looks so beautiful in wind, much more beautiful than in static air? Yes, because it unites symbolically, and not only symbolically, let us say morphogenetically, with the weaving branches of the willows and birches or other trees, and this gives them a special, let us say, taste and shape and radiation and inspiration for a poet. That's why he must stop and admire it. No? And the girl, she can look at you, you know, what is this going on? Is this man crazy, or is going to attack me, or what? And then you say, goodbye, enjoy the wind, and you go on. And you have been true to Eros and Kairos. Kairos is the archetypal, let us say, power or the god in Greek pantheon of the right moment, you know, the right moment. You can do it next time in the wrong moment, you know. You can even bring wind-making machine in a studio and let the hair of an actress flow in it, and an actor would speak the same sentences, but it would be the fake, it would be all fake. So no, I come also and I say, those who want to live according to the poetic warrior lifestyle must accept that Kairos and Eros, and naturally Dionysus, because you need this overflowing, boiling passion in you, which disregards all rules and appointments and times, if you want to be one of the last disciples of the god Dionysus, as Nietzsche was seeing himself. Look at the watch. I have now 35 minutes to stand on the court. So I must. I hope there is not a beautiful girl on the promenade, but I will make it short now. So I came, and there was this very clever and very cognitive and very, let us say, dagger style attack on me. Unconscious, naturally. Most of the people who attack me, they don't know that they do it. They are the good people. Okay, they want my, you know, they want my best. They want my education and friendship and everything. So I come there on the court, from distance on the bike, I'm already shouting, I am here, I am here. The day starts, and I am completely Dionysian after this fast drive, bicycle, you know, sprint, after swimming and, let us say, talking to this windy girl. And I am ready to throw myself into a poetic life and heroic life without any command. But I get a command, like a welcoming, I get, you know, I don't want to criticize you, but this is the most poisonous way of saying, you know, I don't mind that you are late, but, and then there follows a rational analysis for about 10 minutes. And this is the killer of Eros. and Dionysus and Kairos, because it's in the wrong moment, it is cognitive, it is conceptual, it is not erotic, and it kills the energy of the morning completely. We have had similar situations at the university in the 80s, when we were still talking freely about these subjects, even in the seminars. We invite a beautiful girl which, stirs you erotically to a cafe inside the university compound. And then and then suddenly she talks about, what do you study? I'm studying sociology. What is your subject? Well, I'm concentrate on the relationship between men and women and the difficulties that, and so and so. It was the beginning of the feminist movement. And we said, this is a killer. This is a Eros killer. No passion, no beautiful moment of admiration and looking at her with shining eyes, no leaning to your shoulder, no listening to beautiful music, no walking through the park saying nothing, because these are the expression of Eros and Kairos. And the cognitive discussion about the difficulties of a relationship between men and women is the Eros killer and Dionysian killer and Kairos killer. And then what remains to somehow disentangle yourself from this dead discussion by some, pretending that you are understanding, and then, there were no smartphones. Today I have the possibility to take, I don't have a smartphone or an old grandma mobile phone. I can suddenly take it out of the pocket and say, into a dead phone because it is not turned on. Yes, what? No, I cannot believe it. I must be there just now, right? Okay. And then I say, sorry, I had to cut a call. I have an appointment, very important. And I go. So this was one killer, and this continued several times during the morning, because this person who wanted to educate me is very good, very social, and very kind of concerned to achieve harmony about, between people. And he had one of his relatives there who was taking part. So we were 2-3, and so he tried to, to make it. And it was his son, I guess. Yes. I don't have to be so politically correct. No, it was his son whom he wants to educate from a certain distance, because as when fathers, they live separated most of the year. So he wants to have an intensive time of education on politically correct, moral, and wise and fatherly impact on the son. And yet I felt this is the dead end. I have seen it several times, and it can be either too much power if the father and son, they live all the time together, and the father is good and very strong and dominating, then the son must turn against him to become an individual character. But this time it was a kind of endless explanation and, what can we learn from this? And I felt, oh my God, this can be done after a day of ecstasy and running and swimming and in the evening, when you lie down, or the next morning, and you simply, like a bard, remember and let the ideas flow and talk about it, and you don't talk about any particular person, so about archetypes, and everybody can then choose what he wants from it. Now, but a personal kind of, this is to be felt like a hand that is controlling and lovingly, imprisoning you in the cognitive realm of understanding. We wanted to play tennis. And the other point was that the son is a good tennis player, very tall, and he has a serve that is either out or in the net, or a killer bomb, a killer shot that you cannot react to. And we were playing and quite good training, and then he said, "Yeah, I want to play a set," and then he crushed me with his serves, which they were good at this day, so at least every third one was an ace, because when he manages to do it, I cannot take it. And so I felt this complete difference of a shot directly going forward with great willpower, and my poetic soul, which wants to enjoy the wind of the morning, the moving trees, the beautiful harmony of running around and playing beautiful balls, not so very far away from the enemy, from the partner, so that he can return them and we have long exchanges. And we enjoy the day. And after that, it will be possible to go into the forest and make a guitar session like this. But no, killing. And then it was over. I said, listen, I am not able anymore to live in a poetic mood, because this is exactly the metaphor, image that I use for the destruction of the poetic soul, is a shot of cognitive act, the consciousness act of, conceptual thinking, willpower-powered argumentation, will-powered perception, which is the target it wants to have, because it is all willpower, the egoistic will to power. They are in an imagery to be seen as real shots, a gunshot through the soft, undulating, expanding morphogenetic field of the soul. It's really like a balloon, like a medusa. Okay, and swimming in the Akashic realm, where there are other soul fields that attract your soul field or repel it. And the merging realm, it is a software realm. It is not to be measured. The merging of these soul fields that are attracting each other in the, let us say, in the Akashic realm, software realm of the Mother Gaia soul, this is the ontological place where emotion is, so to say, happening. Emotion is arising in the merging space between two soul fields. So it is definitely not only in your brain. It is far beyond your brain, like the hair of the girl you see, like the wind moving the branches of the trees and so on. So it's far away from you. And in between, there where these two fields merge, your soul and the field of the other entity, there your feeling arises. And if you have a shot of, a cognitive act that is directed at a target, or a concept, willpower, that immediately, flattens, pierces the passive soul field, these experiences of Eros, Kairos and Dionysus are passive. It happens to you. It overwhelms you. It overwhelms you exactly because the most of the fields that inspire you are elemental fields of nature, and they are in always larger, much larger than you are. You cannot be fascinated by a small object. Sometimes you can look down at the grass and you see a beetle crawling on a leaf of a grass, and it fascinates you. But there's a kind of benevolent, fatherly attachment to this beetle now. Whereas when wind is storming in the trees, it's like, yes, this is what happened. After that, I told them, I'm not able. My soul is flattened. I can no more be a poet, so goodbye. Then I hammered with my rock music for some time on the wall with my left hand to compensate my right side of the body and to come back to my heroic, poetic motion style. And then I take a shower and go to a forest, lie down, smoke a cigarette, which I call a philosophical cigarette. It'll take me down from my, nervous, outrage. Okay. And I fell down, beautifully sleeping, in the forest, below very large and high trees. I slept some like 2 hours, and then I woke up into a strong sound, and the crowns of the trees above me, they were rushing and breathing and aching because a very strong wind came. It was beautiful. So I packed my stuff and bike to the lake. Everybody was running away because the storm was coming. I was going the other direction. I was lucky. I was happy that nobody is there. Finally, I had the coast for myself, and there was this beautiful soft summer rain in which I exercised my qigong, and so came to my lifestyle. Eros was again there, Kairos was there, and overflowing cup of power. So this was the comment first. Now I have to go so that it does not repeat itself, that I'm not too late. Lesson to be learned from this is you have to work on what disturbs you, but you should not do it at the moment when it disturbs you. You have to have some distance. Nah? So let sleep over it, and in the next morning you let it arise, and then you have your ideas and your vision and images to what happened.